how's it going, guys? I'm always trying to think of some other way to open the video. Hey, I'm Rich. What's going on? Always the same old boring stuff. So let's just talk about what's going on. What's going on? Today is the 25th of June already. We're halfway through. Holy crap. 2019. Over the weekend was GC snowshoe. I don't talk about him on social media now because he wants his own representation through his racing and stuff. My son got 5th in XC2 and 12th overall, which at freaking snowshoe is pretty badass. Sorry, I said badass. It's only 3-letter word. Badass. But anyway, that's pretty awesome. How about Caleb and those guys, huh? Pretty awesome how those guys did. This weekend we had an ECA hair scramble. It's kind of a cool place. Rocket Raceway, way out, PA. It's a moto track and rocks all around it in the woods, so it's pretty badass. I'm not very comfortable on the moto track, but the woods are pretty nice, so I'm looking forward to that. Want to go do that. So anyway, might be a little bit too soon, but I don't care. I'm going racing. I'm gone. I need to have some fun. Alright, so coming at you today with some whoops, just some tips for whoops. That's all this is. Just trying to get out some good content. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. Please like, dislike, subscribe, follow, tell me whatever you want. Whoops. We have a lot in South Jersey where I live, so soft sand, stuff like that. I'm talking about, just whoops that were made by a dirt bike in the woods. I'm not talking about man-made stuff like Supercross, but some of this can apply. It's all about commitment. Some people are afraid of commitment, but committing to the whoops, committing to the section because they are dangerous. Commitment to the first section of the whoop, meaning the first whoop initially, you want to get in the habit of, and this is something you practice slowly just on the approach, is you want to wheelie or loft into the face. You want to wheelie or loft into the face. If this is the top of the whoop, the front wheel comes down and kisses the top of the whoop. If you just drive your front wheel into the face of that first whoop, driving the front end into the face compresses the forks and then transfers into the rear. It gets more of a kick out of the rear end. So if you're starting this section this way, it's not much of a commitment. You're going to be fighting that back and forth hop all the way through the whole whoop section. So you want to commit to the first one by wheeling in and then carry that same deal, keeping the front wheel light, wheeling in the belly and letting the rear end drop down. One key thing to remember is always where you look. I always say look ahead, but don't look at the face. Look at the top of the whoop. If you look at the face, that's where you're going to drive into. Where you look is where you go. So, commitment, body position. You want to have an aggressive stance. Use my notes here. You want an aggressive stance for whoops. Aggressive stance meaning your chin is going to stay over the handlebars. You never want to be in this position. Sometimes this might happen, but you don't want to be there as much as you more want your chin over the front end at least. Your butt and everything is back, but notice how my legs are transferred towards the ball, or towards the back of the bike. Balls of the foot, that also starts with keeping your legs tight into the bike, which starts with your feet. Turn your feet in, will allow you to have better control with your legs and keep the bike from hopping side to side. Okay, your stance, you never want to get here with your your arms extended. You want to keep a slight bend in your arms, so therefore your chin remains over the crossbar. The other thing, when all else fails, keep a finger on that clutch, dude, because a lot of times if you don't have a finger on your clutch and you're whoops and you got bucked and you're in this position with no finger on the clutch, usually from this position it's not pretty. At least if you have a finger on the clutch, you can pull it in, therefore killing power to the rear wheel, and the front wheel is no longer driving. At least you can regain your composure and get back into control. Okay, so body position is important. Start with your feet, keep your chin under the bars. I've already forgotten my notes, so I gotta look back at them. So. Gear selection is crucial. Gear selection with whoops. Understand that you always want to try and apply whatever gear you think, go one more. A lot of times the taller gear will help unload the suspension because there's not as much chain tension. So there's not as much chain tension, it's going to let the bike work more free, more easy through the whole section. So think about taller gear. Plus, the thing that this makes happen is it's easier for you to maintain a more consistent throttle. If you're in a low gear, you're always working the throttle, get that kick and everything going back. You're trying to stay consistent, getting the front wheel up by carrying a taller gear. I'm not a suspension guru, but suspension, you know, that could be a contributing factor to whoops. All I tell guys is to start out, if you're starting over, trying to figure out if you got the, you know, everything set up right, is first you want to check your sag and where your forks are in the tubes, okay, and understand that's very crucial. You want the proper sag, where your forks are. I'm running mine flush, but that's just something I'm playing around with, going back and forth. That does affect the stability of the bike over and through whoops. Spring rate, make sure your spring rate's set to your weight, whatever you weigh with gear, with riding gear. Riding gear usually has 20 pounds. Make sure you take that into consideration. Set your clickers up in the middle, like 15 on rebound and compression, and just start from there. Start working small increments to make it better. Usually with soft sand whoops around here, you end up we end up on the stiffer side in the middle, and I know that rebound and compression don't differ too far from each other. They're pretty stiff. But that's for me. Everybody's suspension is different. As far as rider sag, you're looking probably like 110, 105, somewhere in there, depending on the situation. Another thing, if you're running tubes, which I generally run foam inserts, if you're running air inner tubes, you know, what kind of air pressure, because you're going to get more of a bounce. Anywhere from 10 to 12 pounds. If it's slimy, I might go to 8, but it's understand that you run the risk of getting a flat with that low air pressure. But you do get a heck of a nice footprint and better traction. So these are some of the things I wanted to bring out there as far as whoops. But also, here's my disclaimer. Whoops are very dangerous. So how you practice them is very crucial. You don't just go out and start blitzing them. Take it 2 whoops at a time. You know, willing into it, like I said, committing, and then willing to the next one. So take it 2 whoops at a time. And just get in that comfort zone of proper clutch, proper throttle, body position, everything up, like I said. So this is my tip for today on how to negotiate whoops. I hope this helped, and we're going to keep it rolling. So we're going riding. So deuces later. Thank you.